I couldn't emphasize enough the importance of being involved in a sports group or a sports team or even a book club. You have to get in front of people. You have to be uncomfortable. And you only get comfortable with the uncomfortable with practice. Failure is the secret ingredient to success. You are going to fail numerous times, but what did you learn from it? It's the same like a sales pitch.
Hi, I'm Chris Shrubsole and welcome to School Talk, the podcast where we have meaningful conversations about education, learning, and those issues that matter most to students, to parents, and to teachers. With over 10 years experience in international schools, I've seen firsthand the challenges, but also the opportunities in learning today. Each week, I'll sit down with inspiring guests to share stories, insights, and strategies on how we can help shape the future of education. Whether you're here to grow, to learn, or to spark change, this is the place for you. So let's get started.
Welcome back to another episode of School Talk. This week, I'm joined by Paul Downs, the former chairman of the Dubai Celts and a former teacher, now working with Coffee Planet. So first of all, good morning.
How are you doing, Chris? How are you?
Good, thank you. Good. And yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks very much for having me.
Kick us off, kind of a brief introduction there. What did you do and what do you do now?
As my primary role, I used to be an educator. Worked in a number of schools out here as head of maths. I transitioned out of education and now working for Coffee Planet, doing a commercial role there, working B2B, doing the coffee solutions into different offices and businesses.
Okay. And that transition away from teaching, challenges, the biggest challenge you say, but also kind of what was the motivation behind it?
There was a number of different things. I'd done a master's a number of years ago. I did an MBA in educational leadership. The MBA was in Finland. And there was a lot of people who were involved in the course who weren't particularly involved in education itself. They were in educational companies or, recruitment, student recruitment. And it kind of gave me an eye for just outside of the classroom generally. And I got heavily involved with my football club. I was chairman and vice chairman, and I just really enjoyed the commercial side of that, working with sponsors, the event management side. And it's kind of what prompted me to, jump out of education, you'd say. It was a bit daunting, but if I didn't do it, at the age I'm 30, at the time I was 32 years of age, I'd always have regrets if I didn't do it. I'd always have those regrets looking back. So that's kind of what prompted me. The biggest challenge I'd say was just getting a job generally, trying to convince an employer to employ a teacher who doesn't, a lot of them think you don't have particular skills, which isn't true. And so getting that initial job was difficult. That was probably the biggest challenge, I would say.
Talk to me about that there, about people thinking they don't have the transferable skills. There's so many skills you have in teaching, but I think it's just having that mindset of knowing, okay, I do this, this, and this, and I can transfer it to something else. Oh yeah, like 100%. Like just in regards to technology, the amount of technological apps that teachers use on a regular basis that not only they use, it's very easy to use something, but you have to be a master of that because you have to teach how to do it. And the same with, how many learning management systems, how many different systems that we had to use over the years. Like I'm using CRM at the minute. Yeah. And it's essentially the same thing. It's recording what you're doing and technologically able, I would say. We're very good problem solvers. I think educators have a knack for finding the quickest, most efficient way of doing things. Because they want to focus on what matters. It's the same for me. I'm in sales. I want to be out selling. Yeah. An educator, for me, the primary things that they need to be doing is teach and get in front of the kids who need that extra bit of work and planning. And it's, putting the time into making the other systems more efficient. Yeah. So then the similarities you'd say between teaching and the commercial roles, big one, time management? Time management, organization, problem solving is massive. The ability to, look at a system and find out the quickest way of doing it to be most efficient. And the other one, the big one I'd say is adaptability. Yeah. As an educator, there's so many different aspects that you have to do each and every single day that, again, in the commercial world, you have to adapt to that. Yeah. Probably the last big one then is communication. Yeah.
as an educator, you're communicating with parents, leadership, students. Obviously, you have to adapt to different people. And I think that works quite well in the commercial world.
Is there anything you've done in the commercial world that you think should be implemented into teaching? So for example, like I've been in schools where you'd get every single member of staff in the sports hall to talk together. And I think in most other walks of life, they would never have that amount of manpower wasted in one room to have a conversation about what's happening next week. Surely you would just send an email out as opposed to say, next week we're doing X, Y, and Z. I get the social side of it, bring people together. But in terms of manpower and hours wasted, that's like full school staff meetings blew my mind.
I think that's a really good point. Swear to God. Like, there's so much to do as an educator all the time. Like, you can do that in your teams. Marking is such an important aspect. You can mark in your team in a room. If you want to keep people in for that CPD hour, do marking in a room where it's useful for everyone. I think probably the big one is, having good systems in place that, prevent, wasted time. As I said, the biggest, most important thing for an educator to do is plan and teach, and eliminating an hour in a room where what are you actually getting from it a lot of the time? I think, leadership in a lot of schools, not pointing at any schools in particular, but what are your educators getting out of this? It's not a LinkedIn post or something that you can put up later on. What are your teachers getting that's actionable that they can use the very next day in the classroom? That for me would be, and I think in the commercial world, a lot of that, there's no faff. No. At the end of the day, you're in a business. It's there to make money.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you're doing something for a specific purpose, not because you've got a slot once a week that you feel like you need to do something. Nothing to do, don't do it. Just give people the time.
I couldn't agree any more with you regarding that.
And you can say it now that you're not in teaching, but like, it's such a waste of time. And I get it. Their hands are tired because they need to be seen to do stuff as well. But just more sensible choices sometimes. More
sensible choices, or just give that time back. Okay, I want you all in the room. I want you to plan. I want you to collaboratively plan for something that's coming up, rather than, linear planning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So talk to me a bit about the Dubai Celts, chairman there. You've got such a strong community in terms of that. So what are the benefits of the community from the Dubai Celts, would you say?
I think just on Dubai Celts itself, it's a GAA club. So Irish sports, Gaelic football, hurling, camogie and ladies football. For me, it's a bit of a home away from home. So many people from Ireland, from wherever, come to Dubai, and it can be quite a lonely place. You could be working in a school where you don't know a huge amount of people, or any job really. And it just provides that outlet for people where they go training twice a week. The training is, it's differentiated in different ways. You have your top players probably playing senior level all the way down to junior and social. So there's something there for everyone. I would say it gives that kind of piece of home away from home, because so many people in Ireland grew up with this. A lot of people outside of Ireland don't know that the biggest sport in Ireland is Gaelic football.
Yeah.
After that, it's soccer. After that, it's rugby. After that, it's hurling. So, our rugby team are going quite well at the minute, but it's the third biggest sport.
Yeah.
Which is mental. I think as I said, the key aspect is, your physical well-being. You're going out training a couple of times a week. The social side of things. So there's 5 tournaments a year that the Middle East County Board put on. 2 of them this year were abroad. So you're going away to Bahrain, you're going to Qatar.
In a weird way, does the sport come second and the social side of it come first? That's the primary side of it, that you go there because, I guess like you said, they're the elite players in there. They're probably primarily focusing on sport. But everyone else, the social side is the outlet that they go for.
100%. And the reason why I say that is, if you wanted to play sport at the top level, which we have a lot of players out here of former All-Ireland winners, who've played at the very top level.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to continue playing at the top level, those guys would be home. Those girls would be home. The reason why, they're out here is to travel, to, improve their careers, to just try something different.
Yeah.
And, what our club enables them to keep that apart from home still there. But that they're still able to, explore all these incredible opportunities that they have out here.
Yeah, I think, exactly that. Everyone's come out here for a reason. But if you can have those extra clubs and stuff that supplement their well-being and their sport and their social side of it, only going to add positives, isn't it?
100%. And like the social aspect of things is incredible.
Yeah.
Like obviously the tournaments, there might be socials afterwards at the beginning of the year, just trainings on the beach.
Yeah.
We go away as a club at the end of every year down to RAC. So there's a number of different opportunities for people to socialize, obviously going abroad to different tournaments.
Yeah.
And like the beauty of that is when you, like one of my first years out here, we went to Asia for the Asian Gaelic Games. So we went to Malaysia. And I didn't know a lot of the guys before that. I was 21, 22 years of age, but I got to know them on that trip.
Yeah.
And I ended up making friends for life. Just based off that.
Touching it there, if you come to a school, my first school was a American curriculum school. So everyone in there was American, Canadian. Completely different sense of humor to me, blah, blah, blah. And I joined a football team, and it was just that release of getting to know people that are more similar and more like-minded than you. So that was like the big outlet that I had each week, was the football team. Going to work was a bit, not alienated, because they're still good friends with some people now.
Yeah.
But like, key examples, a kid in my class, his dad was a football agent. So he kept going on about these big players his dad signed. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, one day, knock on my door, classroom door, and dad's standing there with Karim Benzema. And I'm like, no way.
Oh, wow.
Walks in, shake his hand, blah, blah, blah. I have a photo with him, and I'm buzzing. Like, he's big at Real Madrid at the time. So I run out to the corridor. No one in my team knew who he was. I was like, absolute waste of space. Next day, got a signed Real Madrid shirt from Benzema as well. But no one in like my year group, the year above, even knew who he was as a footballer. I was like, mad. But all part of it.
But on that, like, so many people, let's say, if they come down, half of our club are teachers.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, they have that in common. Half of them, all of them, came out here to the Middle East, which means they have a travel bug or they want.
Yeah.
Like they're going to have different connections there. They have their genuine connections from at home. And then the beauty of it as well is it's become quite diversified. Like we have a lot of British people who play with us, for example. We've had Americans, Canadians as well. Like one of my good friends who's involved with the ladies side of things, Donna Campbell, she's Scottish.
Yeah.
And she's been essentially running the ladies side of things for a number of years.
Really? Yeah.
And it's just the beauty of the organization.
Yeah. So the big like major events and stuff, what goes into planning something like that?
So we would host 2 tournaments a year. We host a football tournament and a hurling tournament. Football tournament, it's got a bit easier, I would say now. The tournaments are split up because it's become so big. So I think there's 2,000 active players in the Middle East.
Yeah.
So there are 17 clubs.
Really? Wow. Yeah.
17 clubs. There's 5 in Dubai.
Yeah.
2 in Abu Dhabi, Al Ain, Sharjah, RAC,
Yeah.
Qatar, Bahrain. Like there's Saudi, Kuwait. Like there's so many.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
Oman. I'm probably leaving a club out there, which they'll go mad. You have to basically plan for all of these teams coming in. Like you could have, back in the day, you could have about 1,000 people playing on a weekend. So you're organising 3 matches per team, referees, volunteers, medical staff, physiotherapists. You're making sure branding for your sponsors is front and center. You know, one of our sponsors for 20 plus years was Dubai Duty Free.
Yeah.
You know, magnificent sponsor. Great. They were brilliant for us. Current sponsors now, Luxury Escapes, Fit Meals, help us out. And McGettigan's are a massive sponsor of ours as well. So we're trying to get their branding clear for everyone to see. So there does go a lot go into these tournaments, but you get a huge amount of satisfaction when, you know, everything runs the way it should be. You know? Yeah.
Been any big mishaps or organizational faux pas?
The last couple of years, I've looked after referees coming out.
Yeah.
And sure, one year the referees' gear didn't arrive.
Oh, really?
So we had to get the boots and just different referee gear on the day when they arrived.
I suppose that's not anyone's specific fault, though, is it?
Not everyone's specific fault. Another year, the referees went to the wrong location.
Yeah. Fair.
So there was an hour there where, you know, different people, myself, or went in and refereed games. No major hiccups. There will be injuries, but there's always medical staff on site. For the most part, no major hiccups, thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like you said there, the community of the Dubai Celts and just so many like-minded people. Did you meet someone there that was a teacher that transitioned out of teaching? Someone who's in a more commercial role that you were like, I want a bit of that. That's a bit of me.
Like there's a lot of people, say in the Celts currently, or even my own friends who have transitioned out. I think there's opportunities there. For example, I know 2 people recently who have gone into PT full time.
Yeah.
And they're doing very well from it. Like obviously they've got their clients and they've essentially become content creators as well at the same time. So there's that aspect. I know people have met through the club. There's 2 people who are heavily involved. One girl, Roche Hendren, she looks after the social media side of the club, but she's also involved in Glow, that band. Right, herself and a guy in the club, Derek Coughlin, are part of that. So they would have met through the club and other musicians, and now they gig quite regularly. And again, just that love of being involved with the Irish community or GA community, and then I love Irish music as well. Yeah, and they started playing.
Let's go from there.
And there's other aspects like the Fit Meals in Sharjah, for example. Sharjah was set up. It's another GA club. Was set up in 2012. And from that, one of the guys, Owen Cantwell, was involved with Sharjah Wanderers. And he was managing Sharjah Wanderers, I should say, the pub and the food. And he set up Fit Meals through the kitchens there. Yeah. He's since transitioned into Dubai full time. But, you know, he would have got big support from the Irish community originally. So there is big opportunities if you're looking to transition just through being involved in a GA community or any group. For that matter. I couldn't emphasize enough the importance of being involved in a sports group or a sports team or even a book club. It doesn't matter. Just be involved in
it's just the social side of it. Social side of things. Because there'll be people in slightly different walks of life, but you're still, like you said, brought together by that one passion that's got you there in the first place. And then you go from there.
You're going to become friendly with these people and then you don't know what's going to happen. No. You know? For the job that I got it through a friend who was in Dubai Celts. You know, and it's the same with if you're looking for a job or anything, even in our own club, if you're looking for a teaching job, you know, the CVs that go into our different groups.
Really?
You know, 100%. Or the amount of people that put in, guys, we're looking for a maths teacher, we're looking for a year 5 teacher, we're looking for whatever. That goes into the groups and people are willing to help each other out.
Yeah, for sure. Even with a podcast, I was just out one day at a golf event and met someone through this, and it kind of just took the podcast to the next level. It was there, but it was just like plodding along. Whereas I say now, in terms of like all the editing and the behind the scenes stuff, that's gone to the next level. I don't know if it's evident, people watching or listening, but yeah, all part of the fun. Going back to like you leaving teaching, you were thinking about it for a while. There was an opportunity came and you were like, I'm just going to go for it and see what happens, or what happened?
I didn't have something sorted when I put my notice in.
Really?
No, didn't.
So why did you hand your notice in?
The reason I handed my notice in is because I wanted to give sales a shot, to be honest with you. I wanted to give the commercial side of things because, again, I've done it with the club. I've done my master's in the MBA.
So you knew what you wanted to do, but you just didn't have anything specific lined up?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I kind of had an idea, and then, you know, it's just framing different things. It's framing your LinkedIn, framing your CV. Yeah. What are you targeting? So sales is a lot about targets. So one of my key roles in my previous school was, you know, Tim's results or GL results, you know, and so I would have framed my CV and my LinkedIn based around that, which, you know, is true. Yeah. I had targets to make, which we did make in the last school I was in. The principal actually contacted me after I left.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. It was good that the relationship is still there, but she contacted me afterwards that they got the result that they wanted.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So it was nice of her to go back and do that. But what I'm saying is it's framing your LinkedIn or framing your CV into what you want to get into, what's your experiences. And that's kind of how I did it.
Sorry, going back to you handed your notice in, was that element of doubt, uncertainty? Did your wife be like, what are you doing? Or
yeah, listen, my wife's very supportive.
Yeah.
Wife has been incredible throughout the whole thing. If I didn't do it now, I'd never want to have done it. There's a huge amount of uncertainty. Yeah. But if you've got the work ethic and you go out and meet as many different people as you can. Yeah. And I can't emphasize that enough. You have to get in front of people. You have to be uncomfortable, and you only get comfortable with the uncomfortable with practice.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I've said it on here before. Like, I think people aren't looking to leave teaching, but they're intrigued to know what else is out there. And you're never going to be able to sit there and say, as a teacher, you can do this job, this job, this job. Like you said there, it's about those relationships, building relationships, making connections, all of those things. And as a guy on the podcast last week, it was like, we need to focus in schools now about kids being confident, looking people in the eye, shaking hands, because everyone has the same knowledge now.
Yeah.
Everyone has the ability to find out absolutely anything, but not everyone has the ability to look someone in the eye, have a conversation with a stranger, and be confident doing it. And I was like, fuck, yeah, that's so true. You get kids now that are like struggling to get off their screen kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't agree anymore with it. It's like, I remember doing parent-teacher meetings. How can you? But it's like, don't put too much pressure on this child at this age. Like, first of all, you want your child to love learning.
Yeah.
You do not want them going to school, not enjoying school or the pressures of it. You want them to develop a love of learning that they'll have for their whole life.
Yeah.
The other aspect there you're saying about technology, it's so true. I take out my phone, ChatGPT. Well, you get your answer. Obviously, you do a bit of research to make sure it's right. But there's everything.
I saw something this morning that's been banned in schools now in Dubai. Come out, I saw something this morning.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's with immediate effect or schools will get protocols of shut it down, but because I know it's been done in other countries. What do you think about that little side tangent?
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Like, listen, you can prompt things. If you have an essay, you can prompt things. I understand that aspect. But, if a child's doing homework, they're still going to be utilizing it at home doing homework. I don't know if I agree with it. I think, listen, the way AI is going, this is here. We need to learn how to
use it as opposed to shy away from it.
Yeah.
And I think as well, like, we started doing in year 6, something like open book assessments where use the knowledge you've got, but apply it to a real life situation. Because like we said before, everyone's got the knowledge. There's no point hiding it. And all of a sudden they go to university and bosh, there it is.
But even on that, right, if you look at, education now, currently, every child and what we're being exposed to is quick reels.
Yeah.
You've got 10 minutes or 10 seconds for a video to come through to decipher what's there. You're talking about an open book assessment.
Yeah.
How long does it take students now to go through passive writing and get the answers from a passive writing?
Yeah.
It takes them ages because they're not doing enough and their attention spans aren't as good. I'm a big believer in that. Like, you do need to still have books. You still need to have, not books, but reading material for the kids that they can go through and find the answers. I think it's so important.
It's funny you say that. Like you said about the girl at your club who's in charge of the social media, are your friends that have become PTs and content creators. I would say 50% of this podcast is about content creation in terms of like social media reels and clips. But at the same time, I'm here talking about reduced screen time and things like that. So it's a real double-edged sword.
That is the society that we live in currently, Again, TikTok is just reels quick. If it's not interesting in the first 3-4 seconds, it doesn't capture your attention.
Gone. Yeah.
See you later. And it's just the way society has gone.
Yeah. Talking about that last one about connections, someone who is sitting there at the moment thinking, I've only got my school network or sports network. What's the best way for you to kind of, would say, go out there and meet new people?
I would get involved in any sort of club that you can possibly do.
Yeah.
Whatever you're passionate about, whatever you're interested in, it doesn't matter. If it's painting, if it's running, if it's sport. For me, sport has always been the big one because, you win together, you lose together.
Yeah.
You're playing for each other. There's obviously individual sports as well, but for me, it doesn't hit the same. Like, I've been doing CrossFit for the last couple of years. And we did a competition there at the weekend, me and 3 of the other lads.
Yeah.
Just really enjoyable doing it with other people. And for me, just get down and get into it. Like something we do anytime we have a new person into the club, lads, that's Chris.
Yeah.
He's new to, he's new to the club. Chris, where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. Then everyone goes over, shakes hand. How are you doing? Something small, but then, you make a beeline for him at the next session. How are you doing? How's things?
Yeah.
Particularly with work, a lot of people come out here without any work. So this guy mightn't have work, so you try and help him out.
Yeah, because that's changed now as well. Like previously, I'd say when I came out here, Dubai wasn't as well known, wasn't as commercial as it is now. So you'd have a job and then come out here. But I'd say now it's slightly shifted where people are like, okay, I'll come here and then I'll look for a job.
Yeah.
So I think that's changed as well.
Yeah, I think it's changed massively. I think like a lot of places won't employ unless they can see you.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of guys would follow their women out here who might be in education, who might be in their own commercial roles or business roles, and they try to find a job. You know, like it took me 3 months to find a job.
Did it?
My brother-in-law came out here. It took him close to 3 months.
Yeah.
A former chairman of our club, it took him close to 3 months. Now he's got a magnificent job in Saudi now currently while working from here. But like it does take time.
Yeah.
Sometimes these things take time, and you know the important thing is to not
even getting those rejections and thinking, okay, that's fine. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off. You're a big boy and go again. Yeah.
Failure is the secret ingredient to success. Yeah. You are going to fail numerous times, but what did you learn from it? It's the same like a sales pitch.
Yeah.
You know, what went well? What can you improve? The typical things that you'd say to a child.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're saying it to a child, are you applying that same mantra to yourself?
Your own walk of life.
Your own,
yeah. Probably not as an adult. There's a lot of things we tell kids to do that we don't do ourselves.
But that's where your network comes in. That's where your close friends come in. That's where if you're struggling with something, you go to someone you trust. Yeah. This is what I'm doing. Give it to me hard.
Yeah.
You know, tell me what I'm doing wrong or want to improve. And if you actually want to improve, you will improve.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. Like when I started the podcast, I was like real imposter syndrome of standing in front of a camera, talking into a camera, posting it on social media. And I thought I'd get the most stick from my friends. But good friend, they were actually the most supportive, like how good it is and how like out there you're putting yourself and stuff. Whereas I was expecting just to get ridiculed. But there you go. It was good. If someone was curious about leaving teaching, what avenues would you ask them to explore?
Gain experience in what you want to do. Okay. So, you know, if you're interested in social media, okay, if you're involved with a club, take up the social media position in the club, you know, or get involved with some sort of social media aspect in the school. See, can you get involved with? Gain your reps, you know, earn your reps. And so that would be one thing that I would say, even if you're interested in event management, you know, help out doing a school trip, help out doing international day in the school. Just these sort of things so that you can gain an understanding. Do I actually like this?
Yeah.
If I do like it, how can I improve it? How can I improve? And then that's something that you can talk about then in interviews.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, it's gain experience in what you're trying to do or upskill. Like the master's I did was a free master's.
Was it?
The master's I did was a free. I applied, I did an essay, I got an interview, and I got in. Unbelievable experience, but that helped me upskill and, you know, opened up opportunities that I didn't have.
Yeah.
Do courses, LinkedIn. There's so many different things that you can do.
Yeah.
To just, and getting perceptions become reality.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like you see people putting up courses or things they do on LinkedIn. I don't know really what it is, but listen, it looks very good.
Yeah.
You know?
I think, that is so true. Like trying it first, earning some experience first, because a lot of the roles you go to now, have you done this? No, I've got no experience. So how are they going to trust you? You've got to put yourself out there, probably do a lot of these things for free first and not expect anything in return, but just know that the small blocks, the small wins will help you in the long term.
Yeah, 100%.
If someone wanted to get involved in Dubai Celts, best way to do that?
Best way to do it is the social media page.
Yeah.
So when we have new members, we have a number of kind of people who are involved in the social media page. They pass it on to officers in the club who would be designated for let's say, Gaelic football, ladies football.
Yeah.
They would bring them into a WhatsApp group at the start, and then we train twice a week. We train out in sevens currently. And then there's 5 tournaments a year. We play friendly games against our noisy neighbours around the place.
Yeah.
And
a few socials in between.
Yeah. The best socials that we do is at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
We do a mixed football tournament in memory of a former player who passed away. So that's something we do at the beginning of every year. It's brilliant. Great social occasion where guys are playing with girls. And people then 3 or 4 years later still remember if they managed to win that tournament, they were on my team. Or
nice. Yeah, perfect. Paul, thanks so much for being on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Chris. Much appreciated.
All of the information about Dubai Celts and all that I'll put in the show notes, so you've got access to it there. Again, thank you so much for listening to School Talk. My name's Chris Shrubsole. Really interesting conversation with Paul today. If you're interested, reach out to him. I'll put his information on there as well. My name is Chris Shrubsole. This has been School Talk. Bye for now.